Do I need to mute myself now? Are you recording?
No.
Okay.
So lay on your back and bend your knees and just give me a thumbs up if the volume is still okay for you. Perfect. Okay. Bend your knees, feet on the floor, and start with your hands over your hip joints and really kind of quickly get into, but don't move quickly, just a pelvic rock. So it doesn't really matter when you're inhaling or exhaling, just rock your pelvis forward and back as though you were doing cow-cat, but you're on your back. And I mean, just jump into it quickly so you're not overthinking it. Just sort of rock around and then start to pay some attention to your breathing and how it coordinates or could coordinate with the movement. And maybe you fall into a pattern of something that you've done before, which is fine, or maybe some new pattern emerges. And the rhythm will change as your breath develops, as you start becoming more sensitive to sensation around the low back, your belly, your hip joints. And for these next few breath cycles, allow yourself to move in a way that simply feels good and move through as much as you can the full range of motion in this pelvic tilt. And then imagine as you continue to move, no need to stop moving, imagine on the back of your pelvis a clock face. So your tailbone will be 6 o'clock, and the top of your sacrum is 12 o'clock. And then the right hip joint at the back, what's touching the floor, is 3 o'clock, and the left hip joint or sacroiliac joint is 9 o'clock. And we're just going to roll through these points, continuing to breathe. And see if you can create a round movement, and maybe you get curious about those other numbers as well, but the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9 are the points of focus for now. We'll just lean a little extra weight into those points. And then reverse the circle or attempt to reverse the rotation here. So you go 12 over to 9, 6, 3, 12, 9, 6, 3. And you're just paying some attention to your breath here. It doesn't need to be choreographed with the movement, not yet. And when you feel relatively even in the number of revolutions that you've done, land in center, so where the arms of the clock tend to be hooked, the center of the clock face, and hold your hands again at your hip joints, the 3 and the 9 respectively, and as you inhale, imagine those points moving away from each other, maybe even sloping down towards the floor. And on your exhale, engage a horizontal band of muscle across your low abdomen, and imagine you could draw those numbers together, hug in. Inhale, they melt apart like a Salvador Dali clock, and exhale, hug them together. You may notice a little bit of movement in your thighs, that's fine. Just feel for the fact that you're not driving the movement with your thighs. They're just moving as sort of an afterthought or secondary effect. And then slide one hand up to your belly button and the other hand down to your pubic bone. And as you inhale, allow these points to kind of melt away from each other. You might feel your belly bulging a little bit, filling with inhale. And then exhale, hug pubic bone and belly button towards each other. You may notice re-emergence of that pelvic tilt a little here. That's fine too, but again, it's secondary movement. If the hands feel helpful, you can keep them there. Eventually, I'd like you to put your hands down on the floor. And sense these 4 points, like diamond points, 12, 3, 6, 9. Inhale, expanding away from center. Exhale, drawing in towards one another. Continue to breathe, and you don't need to be super heavy-handed with the breath pulse. Just allow it to continue somewhere in your mind. As you step your feet to hips-width distance apart if they're not, inhale, let your sacrum sink into the floor, feel those diamond points spreading away from each other. As you exhale, engage the diamond points at the front of your body and lift your pelvis ever so slightly off the mat. So not bridge, maybe just 2 inches off the floor. Inhale, put your pelvis down, let the diamond points spread away. And exhale, push through your feet, hug diamond points in and lift. Just do this a couple more times. And as you continue doing this little pelvic lift, move your attention into your pelvic floor, into the base of your body, pubic bone, tailbone, sits bones, and the space of your genitals, behind your genitals, and feel for the possibility now of these diamond points spreading and hugging in. And really notice for yourself that there is a quality of opening and closing that includes the tailbone, the rectum space, as much as kind of your pubic bone moving down. And just a couple more times. We don't have to get too crazy with this. And the next time your pelvis is lifted, keep it lifted. Push down through your feet, engage your glutes a little bit to lift your hips higher, but don't lose that hugging in with the hip joints in towards center. So you're not just pushing with your glutes, you're also hugging in with your low abdomen. Bring your feet together, heel toe your feet and knees together. Push down into the earth with your arms. And then lift your right foot off the floor. You can even bring your knee all the way in towards your chest. Hug in with low abs. Hug in, pubic bone to tailbone. Hug in with sits bones. And then lift your pelvis a little higher, keeping it level right to left. Push with your arms. Press back with your skull. Engage your left glutes and lift high. Stay for a breath. And lower. Bring your right foot to the mat with both feet down. Inhale, stay for your inhale here on the floor. Exhale, hug in and lift up. Once you're suspended, stay for a breath. Hug in as much with your low abs as you are pushing with your glutes. And then lift your left foot off the floor. Bring your knee towards your chest as much as you like. Stay for your inhale, get wide across your chest. Exhale, push your butt a little higher using those right glutes and hugging in with your abdomen. One more breath. And then lower, just a little bit of activation. Bring your knees to your chest. Rock side to side. And then come up onto your hands and your knees. You can do that any way you like. Once you're on your hands and your knees, just take a couple rounds of spiraling cow-cat. So like your ribs were a rotisserie, spiral around. And Again, getting into the movement quite quickly and then allowing your breath to just catch on. Reverse the rotation a couple of times. Loosen up the back of your neck if that's an area where you hold a lot of tension. Those of us who are quite attentive, I think moms just automatically fall into that category. Just let the head hang low. Let your attention turn in for these precious moments you have to yourself. Wag your tail back and forth. Come to center with your knees together touching, hands under shoulders, and more into a straight forward cat-cow, we're going to add a leg circle. So as you inhale, lift your right knee out to the side, and then keep lifting. Circle your knee around behind you. Kick up with your glutes. Exhale, cat, bringing your knee all the way forward toward your face. Inhale, lift your chest. Sweep your right knee out to the side and then around behind you. Lift it up. Exhale, cat, spine, knee to chest. Inhale, open, lift your head. Exhale, hug in, let your head hang. 2 more. Inhale, open. And exhale. Inhale, open. Just enough to feel your glutes fire, not so much you have to like squirm around. And then put your right knee down. Everyone, cat spine. Roll your belly into your sacrum. Feel those diamond points on the front of your body drawing in. Draw in the diamond points of your pelvic floor. And then inhale, release. Lift your left knee out to the side, look up. Circle around behind yourself. Kick the knee up a little higher and exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, look forward as the knee goes out. Look up as your knee goes up. Exhale, pull it all into center. Get as much rotation as you can, again, without kind of squirming around and bending elbows. Last 2, inhale up, exhale in. Inhale up, exhale in. And then bring your left knee down. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Hug in with the diamond points of your belly, diamond points of your pelvis. Relax your throat. Empty out. And inhale, look forward. Walk your knees back and apart. Tuck your toes under and press back to down dog. And take my slippers off finally. Wiggle around in down dog for a few breaths. Feel for hands and feet carrying equal weight. So that is both hands carrying equal weight as each other, but then feet carrying as much weight as the hands. Bending your knees might help you with that. Shortening your stance might help you with that. Certainly here, let your head hang. With your exhale, draw the diamond points of your abdomen in towards center. Draw in with the diamond points of your pelvis, and then inhale, let it spread a little. You might lift your heels. Hug in as you exhale, get longer in your arms and your legs. And then inhale, bend your knees, soften through belly and hips, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands for a lunge. You can put your left hand on a block here or balance on left fingertips. Push down with your right foot and then right hand to outer right side. Push your thigh and your hand into one another. So when I say outer right thigh, I mean the sideline, like your knee without the hand there would just be falling open to the side. Push in with your hand until you sense your outer hip firing. Push down with your left foot and slightly out, like you were attempting to sweep your foot out to the side. As you breathe in, lift your chest slightly, let your hips widen. As you exhale, hug in with the base of your belly, the base of your pelvis, and turn your chest a little to the right. Keep your neck long here, so you don't need to force the twist up through your neck. Keep your neck pretty neutral. Last couple of breaths here. Think even with your left hand, press down and out to give some rotation to your ribs. And then look down, inhale, put your hand down, step back to down dog. Inhale, a little bend in your knees, soft through the hips, look forward. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Make your right leg straight. Bring your right hand onto a block or on fingertips, and then left palm to outer left thigh. Push your left knee out until you start to kind of lift up on your inner left arch, and then push your left hand in to flatten the foot. Keep that tension there between arm and leg. Gradually turn your chest open until you feel your collarbones wide. And now push down and out with your right hand, your right foot. As much effort as you've got going on from sort of the collarbones down, soften your face. Inhale, let your hips go wide. Exhale, hug in through the base of your body, get a little longer, twist a little more. Good. Last breath. And left hand down, downward facing dog. With your inhale, bring your knees down to the floor. Keep your knees fairly close to one another, so not wider than hips width distance. And we're going to come into child's pose, but a little differently. So start up, butt all the way to heels. Walk your hands over to the right edge of your mat and put your right hand next to your right knee. Pull your belly back, reach your left arm out away from you. It's probably going to come off your mat, and then push the floor with your right hand to twist your ribs right. Let your head come down. It might be bicep to ear or ear to bicep, as it were. And then breathe in, stretch your left arm away from you, lift your right shoulder a little bit, and exhale, push into your right hand and deepen the fold at your hips. Slide your left arm in, come back to your half kneeling position, hands on the mat just in front of your knees. Mini cow cat here. Lift your chest, collarbones wide. Inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, roll your shoulders forward. And then inhale, come to neutral spine, left hand outside your left knee. Reach your right arm across to the opposite edge of your mat till it comes off the floor. Slide your hand away from you and push the floor with your left hand to deepen the fold at your hips. You can create kind of a twist here, not just the side stretch, but the twist. See how that impacts your experience of opening through the ribs and the armpit. And then crawl your right hand back in. Come to your half kneeling position, hands on the floor in front of your knees. Inhale, chest up, collarbones wide, loose hips. Exhale, gather the front of your belly, pull it back, chin to chest, shoulders forward. Okay, crawl forward onto your hands and your knees. Make your way to down dog. Take in your down dog any new information about your side body, armpits to hips. Anchor your palms into the mat. Anchor your feet into the mat. Again, sometimes it's easier to get more weight in the legs if you bend your knees slightly, engage your quadriceps a lot, and then push your heels away from your hip joints. Inhale, and as you exhale, gather the front diamond points of your belly and the deep internal diamond points of your pelvis. Inhale, spread, get a little taller in your hips, and exhale, hug in. Look forward, 1 foot at a time, step forward. Fold over your legs, knees bent as much as they need to be for you to feel release in your skull, neck, jaw. Hands on the floor in front of your feet, bend your knees to get your hands to the floor. Inhale, chest forward, collarbones wide. Exhale, belly to spine and fold deeper. Inhale, chest forward, collarbones wide. Hug your belly in, pelvic floor in, and fold. Last time, inhale. This time, inhale your chest forward, arms out to the side, come all the way to standing, reach up, look up, and exhale, arms down, mountain pose. Step your feet together. I'm going to turn just so you can see me. Step your feet together and even them out, hands to hips. Sit back in a chair pose. And just feel where you kind of go naturally in your weight. Maybe your weight is super forward in your toes. Try to pull some more weight back into your heels. Don't lift your toes. Just feel your weight moving down into your feet. Sweep your arms up alongside your head. Inhale. And as you exhale, stand up. We're going to do this a couple times. Inhale, chair pose. Weight in your heels, arms up. Exhale, stand up. Do this 3 more times, finding a smooth movement that coordinates with a smooth breath. So you find your depth of the pose that still allows you to breathe in and expand. And then go ahead and sit back in chair pose. Reach long through your arms without squeezing your neck. Lift your chest, widen your collarbones. As you exhale, push down through your feet and try to slide them apart as a means of helping you actually engage in with your belly and your pelvis. Inhale, sit a little deeper. You can let some of that effort in your feet go. Exhale, re-engage your feet. Hug in with your lower belly and your pelvis. Last breath here. Stand all the way up, lift your arms, reach to the sky, and exhale, arms down. Take your arms up again. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. I'm going to kneel so you can see my arms. Right wrist with left hand. Inhale, soften your hips. Exhale, hug in with your belly and lean to your left. Lean left and continue to feel for the pulse in your belly and your pelvis. Little bit of attention on the feet attempting to slide out away from one another. So that's going to help you actually engage in with your inner thighs. Create length in your neck. Maybe you do that by looking down or keeping your gaze neutral forward. On your next inhale, come up, change the grip, grab your left wrist, and lean to your right. So there's this sweet spot that you're looking for where you're still in tune, connected to the sensation of pulse that is inherent in your breath, and connecting that to physical engagement, and finding some steadiness of effort through the press of your feet, the stretch of your torso. Come up to center, inhale, release your arms, relax your shoulders. We're coming back into chair pose. This time, just keep your hands on your hips, sit back in your pose, find that sweet spot where you're as deep as you can go without collapsing your breath. Bring your right hand to your right side. As I mentioned last week, I'm out of practice mirroring, so don't look to me, just listen to my words. Right hand to right hip. Left arm up alongside your head. With your right hand, press your pelvis back, not just the right half, but the whole pelvis. Press down and back. With your left arm, reach your whole torso away from your pelvis. And then we're going to twist. Think of being in child's pose. Reach your left arm across to the right. Push down with your right hip. This time, hook your left elbow outside your right thigh and bring hands to prayer. So feel for those left ribs sweeping across to the right. And then push down with your pelvis to lift your chest towards the ceiling. Inhale here. Exhale, hug belly together. Draw in and up through the pelvis. Lift your chest. Maybe lift your face. Last breath. Look down, hands to the mat, fold forward. Feel free to widen your feet, sway your hips, grab opposite arms. Heel toe your feet together if they came apart. We'll get into chair pose from here. Bend your knees, hands on the floor. And then bring your left hand to your left hip. Reach your right arm up alongside your head. My torso is pretty low here, so let that be a possibility for you. You don't need to stand up in your torso. Anchor your feet. Pulse the belly, the pelvis with your breath. And then the whole pelvis moves down with the assist of your left hand. Sweep across with your right arm, right ribs moving left. Hook your right elbow outside your left thigh and press your palms together. Inhale, soften your hips, go wide. Exhale, hug in, bring your right ribs across more, lift up. Keep pressing your palms together to move your elbows wider apart. 2 more breaths. When you're done, look down, bring your hands to the mat, forward fold. Widen your feet apart, hips width, grab opposite elbows and sway side to side. Bring your hands to the floor. If you turned like I did, turn again to face the short edge of your mat. Bring your hands down and step your feet back to down dog. Lower your knees to the floor. Keep your knees back behind your hips, shoulders over hands, and slowly lower your pelvis and your chest to the mat. So from half plank, come all the way down. Lift your legs, lengthen them back, and lower them one at a time. I'm keeping my head lifted just so that you can hear me, but lower your forehead to your mat. Reach your hands back behind you. If the shoulders allow for it without pinching or pain, interlace your fingers together. You can interlace your fingers together with bent elbows and lift your shoulders off the floor. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Then again, without pinch or pain, possibility to straighten elbows. Push the tops of your feet down into the floor until your knees lift and you feel your quadriceps turn on. Inhale, lift your ribs up off the floor, lift your face, lift your arms. Exhale, hug the front of your belly in, diamond points of belly in, pelvic floor in, and lift your legs. 3 breaths here. Inhale, find that spaciousness in your armpits, your chest. Exhale, hug your belly in, and try to separate your ribs and your pelvis here. Reach your thighs back. Pull your ribs forward. Last breath. Keep your ribs slightly up. Tuck your toes. Press them into the mat. Bend your elbows. Put your palms on the floor outside your ribs. Bend your knees into the floor. Engage your abdomen and push up to hands and knees. Child's pose. Look forward, shift your weight forward, slide your right knee forward behind your right wrist, and then slide your left leg back for pigeon. Here's a good opportunity for a blanket underneath your right hip. I also like the blanket actually going all the way under my pelvis. So not just the right hip, but it'll come across and be under the left hip as well. And then hands on the floor in front of you, forward from the shoulders. Think about, I'm just thinking about kind of the classical image of a mermaid, pressing your chest skyward without a lot of pinch in the low back. And press down with both of your legs. Hug your right leg in and your left leg in. So the thigh bones are drawn towards one another, keeping that option to walk your hands back and sit your chest up a little taller. No pinch or pain in the low back should be felt. If you need to take even more pressure off, bring your elbows to the mat. So yes, there is some pressure in this back bend variation. Hugging hips together can support the low back using that pelvic floor action we've been building. But if it's not appropriate, if it doesn't feel helpful or interesting even, come down and take the stretch. If you do have your elbows down, bring your palms to the mat again. Tuck your left toes under to lift your pelvis up a little bit. Slide the blanket out if you were using it. Here's quite a big step. You can take it in phases, or one step, lift, step your right foot next to your right thumb. Find a lunge, and then inhale, arms to the ceiling. Press your right knee out like you did in the beginning. You had your hand pressed against it. Instead of your hand keeping your knee in towards center, scissor your thighs towards each other, and that'll keep it from going too far to the right. Inhale, allow for some spaciousness and descent in your pelvis. As you exhale, super glue your feet to the floor, push thighs towards center, and reach to the sky. Find some softness at the base of your neck, the front of your throat, and if you want to take a little more heat from this pose, interlace your hands behind your head and start to lean back into a gentle back bend. Maybe cup your elbows forward to relieve the pressure that might be building in your neck. Good. Slowly bring your hands to the mat. Step back into down dog. If down dog is not where you want to be, take child's pose. Option to move through a chaturanga vinyasa here. I like to put my knees down for chaturanga these days. Eventually, make your way to hands and knees. Slide your left knee forward, just behind and outside the left wrist. Find your blanket. Slide it through under your pelvis, so it's under your left hip and your right hip. Walk your hands forward from the line of your shoulders. Send your right leg straight back. Inhale here and just kind of sink into it. And then as you exhale, find a little effort in the legs, your low belly, your pelvis, to support the torso. Any amount, you can walk your hands back. Tune in to whether or not that's helpful. Elbows can come down to your mat as an option. Stay in the space where you have as much felt sense of stability as you do possibility, movement and pulse in your breath and your body. If your elbows are down, come up. Push the floor with your hands. Tuck your right toes under and lift your pelvis. You'll probably scoot your knee forward a bit. slide your blanket out of the way. Strong lift from your right leg. Lift your whole pelvis up and then step your left foot forward and through for a lunge. Slowly rise up to your standing crescent lunge. Woo. Anchor your feet down, and without lifting the instep of your front foot, start to press your knee out to the side. Keep that engagement, that external rotation as you scissor your thighs towards one another. It's going to create a little something interesting, hopefully. Inhale, let your pelvis melt. Your right heel will press back probably. Keep that depth as you hug in again. Lift your chest. You can always lower your back knee down. You can come out of this and scale back as needed. If you want to scale up and extract more heat from the shape, bring your hands to your head, behind your head. Wrap your elbows forward and slowly start to arch back as though you were leaning back over something round. Keep your neck open, throat open. Last breath. And bring your hands to the floor. Down dog. From down dog, you might want to move through a vinyasa sequence or switch it up, go to child's pose. This time, we'll make your way to down dog if you're not already there. This time, open your feet as wide as your mat. And slowly walk your hands back to your feet. Drape your body forward, option to hold opposite elbows. Sway your body right to left. Center your weight. Bend your knees like you were going to come into a squat, but then lift your chest. Bring your elbows to your thighs. Gaze forward slightly. Let your blood pressure balance out. And then hands to the thighs. Straighten your arms. Stay here for an extra breath. Get your weight square in your feet. And then lift up. Bring your feet towards each other, standing feet parallel to one another. Bring your hands to your hips. Point your right toes out in front of you, straight right leg, and then lift your toes just off the mat. Inhale here. As you exhale, take a big step forward and lift your left leg in the same way. Press your left leg back as you pull your left shoulder, ribs forward. Remember that action in your lunge. Think of pressing your right knee slightly out to the side, but also hug your thighs towards each other. Pitch the chest forward. Option to reach your arms out wide or even forward. That'll extract more heat from the shape. Last 2 breaths. Really focus on your low belly activation. And just reverse to come out of this. Step way back with your left foot, come to mountain pose. Look straight ahead, eyes soft. You could also close your eyes and focus on an imaginary horizon line behind your eyes. Let your arms hang like ropes. Bring your hands to your hips. Point your left toes straight up in front of you, straight strong leg. Inhale, lift your toes up. Exhale, big step forward, warrior 3. Lift your right leg. Hug your thighs towards each other. Think of pressing your left knee towards the left. And then as you breathe in, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, hug your hips, your pubic bone, your navel towards each other. Inhale, reach your arms out wide to the side if you like. You could also stretch them forward. Focus on your belly activation for these last 2 breaths. And big step back with your right foot, mountain pose. Find a soft focus with your eyes, either straight out in front of you, see the horizon, or bring that horizon in and back behind your eyes. Take a couple steps forward on your mat. Bring your feet together to touch. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up, look up. Exhale, swan dive forward, a little bend in your knees. Inhale, step your left foot back and lower your knee. Exhale, kick your butt back and walk your hands back until you're in a half Hanuman. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, bring your knees down, look forward, collarbones up. Exhale, round your spine like cat and move to child's pose. Inhale, forward. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, look forward, step your left foot through, lower your right knee. Exhale, straighten your left leg as you kick your butt back, half Hanuman. Inhale, forward, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lift your chest, collarbones wide. Exhale, deep forward fold. Look forward, sweep your arms up to standing. And exhale to mountain pose. We'll do this one more time, leading with the other leg. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Step your right foot as you inhale and lower your knee. Exhale, kick your butt back, straighten your front leg and stretch. Inhale, forward. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, bring your knees down for cow pose. Look up. Exhale, round your spine for cat, and then stretch your butt all the way to your heels. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, look forward, step your right foot forward and lower your left knee. Exhale, kick your butt back as you stretch. Inhale, come forward to your lunge. Step your left foot forward as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, collarbones forward, come halfway up. Exhale, release. All the way to standing with your inhale, reach up. And arms down alongside your body, mountain pose. Close your eyes. Shift your gaze to the imaginary horizon line behind your eyes. Let your arms hang like two heavy pieces of rope. Catch your breath. Bring your hands to your hips, open your eyes about halfway, and one at a time come to your knees. You can be on your blanket here, although we're not going to be standing on the shins. We're just transitioning down this way. Lean forward onto your hands, tuck your toes under. Scoot your knees back half an inch. So you've got a really nice tight stretch on your feet. And then either butt to heels or butt to heels and lift your hands, lift your torso. 5 breaths. Restore mobility in your breath and stability of a consistent rhythm of breath. That's 5 breaths for me. Finish up your count. Hands forward. Lift your feet, cross your ankles behind yourself, and roll back to a seat. You can extend your legs straight out in front of you. A little bit of space between your sits bones, although not too much. Here's a good place for a blanket under your butt if you're stuck back in your sacrum at that 12 o'clock point. You want to try to stack 12 o'clock right on top of 6. And then hands to your back, your low back area. See if you can feel here that 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock are roughly even with one another. You might reveal to yourself a different length in your legs. Tiny little bend in the backs of your knees as you flex your ankles. And then actually hold on behind the backs of your knees. Take a long, slow, deep breath in. Fill out your pelvic floor. Fill out your low belly. Let it pooch a little bit. And then as you exhale, hug the front of your pelvis towards the center. Lift your pelvic floor up off the floor and hinge any amount. Keep your chin quite close to your chest. Any amount, you can walk your hands down the legs towards the calves, the ankles, or maybe you reach the outer edges of your feet. Pull the pinky blades of your feet back towards you. And continue to feel for the steadiness of your forward fold, that consistency of effort to hold the shape, matched by the ability of your belly, your pelvis, your breath to pulse. Bring your hands to the floor outside your calves. Slowly lift your chest and walk your hands in. Shake out your legs a little. And then you're going to lay on your back just like we started. Feet flat on the floor, knees bent. Just take a brief interlude here. Bring the heels of your hands to your hip sockets, fingers point up towards your knees, and press strongly into your thighs. You might rock your weight a little bit right to left in the torso. Feel for the possibility of some release there at the joints of your spine. Okay. Now, trust that the work that you've done from the beginning, all of that kind of engaging in towards center is activated. It's muscle memory, so you don't have to be super grippy with that. Instead, bring your arms down alongside your torso. Start with your palms facing down. And as you exhale, press straight through the four corners of your feet and lift your pelvis up off the ground. Now come to about 75% of your max lift, and then use your arms a little bit more. You can slide your shoulders up towards your ears and then in towards the spine. Your arms may rotate out, so your palms face up, or interlace your hands. As you breathe in, let your pelvis kind of sink a little bit and just kind of spread. And then with your exhale, push down through your feet, engage low belly, pelvis, then glutes, lift up, lift up, lift up. Actively engage your upper back as you press your arms down. Press your skull back. Keep a little space between your chin and your chest. Last breath here. Release your bind if you have one. Lower your spine slowly. And then stagger your legs so that your feet are at the outer edges of your mat. Reach your arms out wide. Lift your butt up and over to the left. And fold your knees over to the right. Your legs are still staggered. Press your right foot into the top of your left thigh and push them into one another. So your left thigh is pushing forward into your right foot. Right foot pushes down and back into left thigh. Position your head where you get the most pleasure. I prefer to look in the direction my knees are pointing. One more breath. It's a short stretch here. And then release your right foot from the top of your left thigh. Scoot your butt to center as your knees come up. Adjust your spine. Feet wide. Move your butt over to the right and lower your knees to the left. Bring your left foot to the top of your right thigh. And of course, that's an option if you don't need more sensation. Press your foot and your thigh into one another. And as you have that strong action in the lower half, just sort of drape your upper torso. Position your head where you feel pleasure, where it's like secondary stretch that's really easy. Good. One more long, slow, deep breath. And slowly release. Bring your knees up and your hips back to center. Sigh out. You have a couple of choices here. Rest with your knees together in constructive rest, or bottoms of the feet together and knees open to the side, probably with some propping. My resting place of choice, and this is pre-Shavasana, of course, is knees together. The hips don't need any more help opening externally. Arms can go wide. Almost bend the elbows and hook them forward slightly. Get some last minute residual stretch in the chest. Lengthen the back of your neck. Once more, sigh out. Don't mind the delivery happening outside. And then if you want to stay in the shape that you've created for Shavasana, feel free. Otherwise, bring your arms in a little closer to your torso. Slide your legs out nice and long. If you've got a blanket or socks, that always is a nice addition for Shavasana. Maybe a little cushion for your head. Just to deepen your breath again. Feel for the support of the ground where it's touching the back of your body, and allow those parts of your physical self to soften a little more. And as the back body softens, Notice what becomes available to you as far as the reach and depth of your breath. Make some small circles with your wrists, your ankles, maybe half circles, half rotations with your head. One at a time, bend your knees if your legs are straight. Roll over slowly onto one side. It doesn't matter which side. And that's the sitting. Sit comfortably. And with eyes closed, look back towards that horizon line behind your eyes. Maybe a beautiful landscape comes to mind. It may be color, shadow play, creating the horizon. But allow your gaze to settle there. And notice if your hands want to or are already constructing their own spontaneous mudra, drawn to the body, drawn to a particular shape. And just track that. Get curious about those aspects of your being that just kind of know what to do and are guiding you, whether or not you're paying attention. I'm going to close today's practice with one recitation of the Togetherness Mantra. I'll share the translation offered me by one of my teachers, Prashanti. May Spirit take care of us so that we may take care of each other. May we feed ourselves so that we may feed each other. May everything we do be brilliant. May we only speak the highest to and of each other so that we don't crack the matrix. Peace in the 3 levels of our karma. Feel free to join in, come along, or listen. Om Sahanau Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for your practice this morning. Namaste.